There's a sharp pain creeping in every time a deal falls through, every time that promise feels hollow, and it comes from a question burning louder than your own doubts. Do you back founders, or do you back ideas? This might sound simple, but deep down, it rips apart the foundations on which everything you've built as an investor stands. It's like staring at two forces, both bleeding with potential, but neither guaranteed. And each one can take your capital, your reputation, your entire legacy, either to the skies or down into the void. So choosing who or what to put your faith in. It might just be the toughest decision you face in the world of investing. Because here's the raw truth. Backing a founder means putting everything you trust in flesh and blood, in someone's personal grit, fire, and frailty. Someone whose story might inspire, someone whose leadership could create miracles, or someone who will crack under the weight of their own ambition. Founders are human, vulnerable, fallible. And yet, they carry the spark that can take an idea from nothing to everything. But it's a terrifying gamble. One missed move, one failure to pivot, and everything collapses like a house of cards. Still, investors chase this human drama, this unpredictability, as if it were the very essence of progress. Then there's backing ideas. Raw, cold, pure. Ideas that need no speeches, no charm, no promises. Ideas that are scalable, that can be optimized, that don't suffer heartbreak or ego. They stand tall on their own logic, on market potential, on disruption. But ideas are slippery. Today, an idea looks like a revolution. Tomorrow, it's just noise. And here's the killer. Pure ideas, without the right founders to breathe life into them, are like shooting stars, bright but fleeting. And too many investors have learned the hard way how chillingly cold it feels watching an idea die, not because it was bad, but because there was no one to fight for it. The raging conflict in your mind comes down to this. Invest in people or invest in concepts, founders or ideas, humanity or innovation, trust or logic. And it's agonizing because both paths are littered with stories of triumph and disaster. But the problem you face isn't just choosing. It's the world around you, trying to convince you there's an answer that fits neatly in a box, that can be cut and pasted from a playbook written for the average, the safe, the processed. The system lies to you every day, whispering that there's one formula, one metric, one truth you can apply. But you know better. You feel it in every fiber of your being. The real question isn't binary. It's about aligning forces, awakening a hidden code that most never even dream of cracking. Here's where all the noise stops, where the real game begins. The first brutal fact nobody wants to admit. The world has no system designed for the rare, the bold, the exceptional founder who's unbreakable. The idea that doesn't just challenge the status quo, but obliterates it. It's a landscape that celebrates average, that rewards mediocrity, and punishes the rare brilliance that demands radical change. The odds are stacked, security blankets wrapped tight around outdated rules, while true innovators suffocate beneath the weight. But you, those who watch, who invest, who know, the unspoken truth is that within this chaos lies your superpower. It's not just about picking sides, it's about finding the spark, where founder and idea converge perfectly. Not every founder deserves your trust. Not every idea is worth the risk. But the ones that are, they're unstoppable. They are the beings who have transcended beyond titles, beyond comfort, beyond the tired patterns everyone else clings to. These founders don't just come with a pitch deck. They bring a revolution wrapped in skin and bone, dreams fused with unshakable willpower. And alongside them, ideas that are not just blueprints, but living, breathing possibilities that can ignite entire industries. When these two collide, lightning strikes. When they align, the impossible becomes inevitable. So how do you find this alignment? How do you avoid chasing shadows or empty promises? How do you pierce through the noise, distractions, and false signals? It takes ruthlessness. Not in a way that's cold or capitalistic, but ruthless in clarity, in discipline, in unwavering commitment to what's real and transformative. You must see beyond the happy face of a founder's pitch and feel every ounce of their conviction, their resilience. You must dissect every layer of the idea to understand its core truth, not just the shiny surface the market adores, but its bones, its flaws, its fight for survival. This is no place for shortcuts or soft emotions. And most importantly, you must build connections. Unbreakable, fierce, symbiotic ties between founders and ideas where each fuels the other. The power comes not from isolating brilliance, but from merging it, fusing minds and dreams into an unassailable force. This is why investing can't be about numbers alone anymore. It's a network game, a dance of intuition and experience and brutal honesty. Founders hungry not just for money, but for people who get them, who pull them out of isolation, who spark their fire higher. Ideas thirsting for champions who are as relentless as the market's darkest storms. For professional investors sitting on the edge of decisions, this means something radical. Stop being seduced by the illusion of freedom that the system sells. That comfort that lets you put your chips on safe bets, on neat ideas with smooth founders, on formulas instead of fire. True freedom, true power, comes from tearing down your assumptions, from stepping outside the early promise of the pitch, and instead, looking for the unsettlement, the untamed energy, the defiance that says, I will burn rather than bend. Don't be a spectator to mediocrity. Don't settle for the illusion of progress crafted by spreadsheets and PowerPoint presentations. Instead, invest like you're lighting a flame in the darkest room, in a place where the exceptionals gather, where misfits and visionaries collide to create what no one else dares to imagine. The founders who will carry your capital forward aren't the ones who play by the rules. They're the ones who are rewriting them with every heartbeat. And the ideas? They are not data points or market segments. They are seeds of future realities, waiting for the right soul to own them fiercely, protect them relentlessly, and build them relentlessly. Ideas without founders are stories without storytellers. Founders without ideas are fires burning without fuel. But together, they are the code to unlock tomorrow. They are the network where your investments don't just increase your portfolio, they shift the very axis of what's possible. This isn't about risk management, it's about risk transcendence. This is your call to step beyond the ordinary horizon, to ignite your will as a weapon, and to link arms with the rare founders who refuse conformity, the ideas that defy logic, and the relentless few who are done waiting. The few who are ready to burn down the false comforts and step into a reality they build themselves. Every lost opportunity, every ritual of doubt, every time you've watched a sure thing crumble under the weight of human weakness or a great idea smothered by poor leadership, that pain is your compass. Let it guide you to the messy, fiery, unnatural edges where transformation lives, where it's not just about capital, but about communion, about power built through connection, honesty, and relentless energy. Back the founders who bleed for their vision, who stand when everything collapses, who laugh at comfort and sleep uneasily today so they can build impossibility tomorrow. Back the ideas that don't just promise change, but are ready to consume all doubts, all norms, all limits. Back the unity of creator and creation as a living force. Because when you do that, you don't just invest. You spark a movement that the market isn't prepared for, that the rules try desperately to stop, but that, in the end, will remake everything. If you want to break from the cycle, from the safe illusions, if you want to find the kind of investments that don't just grow wealth, but forge destiny, remember this. It's not about choosing founders or ideas. It's about recognizing the incendiary bond between them, the network they build, the tension they hold, the fire they ignite inside of you. That's the secret behind the rare successes, the ones whispered about in silence because the world can't contain their power. Find that bond, feed that fire, and you don't just back startups or ideas, you unleash the future.